Comrades, I am Admiral Andre, and this is, if I'm not mistaken, episode 19 of Realpolitiks with Turkey. It's been a bit of time since the last Realpolitiks episode because I've been catching up on some Subnautica and delving into Kerbal Space Program again for the first time in a very long time. But, you know, Realpolitiks is still that cornerstone that I look forward to. So let's continue. In the last episode we managed to acquire a piece of Greece here, and of course we started making the overtures towards Iran, which they turned down to their own fault, you know, and to their own loss, really. Let's just have a look here. So I have to try and still keep in mind all of the advice from before, but so we have to keep things moving in our research queue. So that is indeed the case. We are still trying to get our post-war rebuild going. What is the status? Yes, it's really bad. It's over 100 there. So I think we have to wait until we attack Mashriq or anybody else for that matter and just get our fundamentals back into shape here. Then also World Market Center, we're really going for that financial supremacy. The UN is still having its list of potential targets here, including the US, but again, this is not going to happen anytime soon for us to attack them. Though that is, of course, the ultimate ideal, to knock them out of their number one spot. Because, again, I think here, Germany is not really posing much of a competition or a threat to us. It really does come down to the United States. So what we do has to be focused towards breaking them down over time. So with that said, comrades, let's close this and then just get things moving again. We can never really predict what will come up in an episode, so that's always the exciting thing. It's never the same game twice. I want to see if there's anything offered anywhere. Not in our near vicinity, it looks like. Mongolia left the bloc of Japan. That's their business, I guess. Nothing here. What's happening? Peace with Greece. Our warmonger, I'm not worried about. That is going to deteriorate so fast, and we are in no danger of being attacked here. Mexico, China and the US, as well as Mashriq, of course, Russia as well, but this I think is from a while back already. Post-war rebuild, good. Now pause, although again we don't have to pause if we go into projects. This of course we won't keep running for too long. I just want to see what is the next goal here. Let's have a look. Green energy focus. Really what I should do is first go back to our tasks and see if there's anything there. Our country could use some general improvement. Introduce the Army State project. Now I think I considered this before and turned it down. You see, our unit attack modifier goes down and our relations will go down as well. We don't really need the unit max capacity. This is again what one of our comrades said last time about leveraging our partnerships with other countries to really get them to also contribute to our military efforts. So why would we do this? And the militarism target, again, we don't need. I think it's maxed out anyway. Now this is a very unorthodox thing, but I'm going to cancel this or resign it. It costs us 10 prestige, which is never ever ever what you want to do. However, in this case, I don't want to do this, so I would rather have something else that is worthwhile, and then we will make up the prestige. There's no question of that, so get out of here. Increase our population. This will happen passively over time because we do have several things in terms of research that will contribute to that. I don't even need to look at that. Health related and so on. What's the other thing? The main energy source. This is the real thing that we should try to strive for, and that is what got me on this track of thinking now. This was the green energy thing. We have to wait a bit though. This is coming down to again what is acceptable debt, but I don't think this is really so urgent that we have to sacrifice even more debt for that. Let's find something else and that we can actually afford that will still be worthwhile doing. None of these of course are affordable. Anything here perhaps? Oh, atomic power is too expensive. No, ICBM, all of this is too expensive as well. Army state, forget it. This stuff we need prior research for. So let's actually look at where this is. If I'm not wrong, it should be all in this area. Genetics. Biological improvements for soldiers. Now, normally I would be a bit reticent to do something like that. What about the super materials? Yes, let's do this. It's 30 score and it's affordable. So this is again that great advice to never leave the research queue empty. So let's continue. Now let's have a look. What other priorities do we have? Let's see. Oh yes, the other thing was of course getting this situation with Iran under control. What's happening now? Let's see. What's our next task? Advanced health theory. Now see, this I can get behind. Let's see, what does it take? That's really only the next step up, so it's a very cheap thing. Score on its own as well. Fantastic. That's much better. So do not be afraid to cancel tasks if they are not congruent with our own objectives. Iran, will you consent? They would, but they need a few more days. Luckily, they still like us enough, so maybe this time the odds will be in our favor. American crisis. There's a serious political spat between the United States and their neighbors. Oh, experts are predicting that the crisis might last a long time. So Mexico hates them anyway because they lost the war, and Canada basically hates them just as much. Eesh, not a good time for the US, I guess. Try. They refused again, but these are very generous and reasonable offers. We will get them. And you know what? I'm gonna pause now. Let's not pause for this. I want to mention this. I was thinking, before starting this episode, since we really are trying now again to rebuild, pause because there's things I want to investigate there. To rebuild the Ottoman Empire, but as a financially based and what I would say even a moderate Islamic power. Now, of course, the Middle East has been ravaged by so much conflict and so much chaos and terrorism and all of that over the decades up to 2057 now. It's really necessary for somebody to take that leadership and sort of bring order to this region. And again, you can either do this as a fundamentalist like the ISIS or ISIL people, or as a moderate power. And I think this is where we can really fulfill our destiny as Turkey. Because again, Turkey was the last caliphate, and thereby there is some basis or legitimacy for reforging that. Now, the other great opportunity here is then we can become the prominent Sunni power. And if we can build a lasting partnership with a prominent Shia power, we can create a sort of Islamic condominium where we can finally achieve a lasting peace and, return to those days, because people forget so often that during the dark ages of Europe, the Islamic world was the leader in terms of science and art and literature and astronomy and mathematics and a lot of the, the classics of Greece and so on. The only reason we have them still today is because they were translated into Arabic and then from there back to Europe when the Enlightenment began there. So we want to return to those roots, and just sort of retake the Middle East and Islam there from the hands of these radicals and fundamentalists, and this is really where we can get our destiny. But anyway, this is me rambling a lot. Let's see, troublemakers banished. For the right price, we're willing to take care of some of the more radical members of your society. Now this is East Yugoslavia offering to do this for us, but what is the penalty for us? Let's see, money, of course. But why would we do this? It costs us action points. Okay, it brings down unhappiness, but we don't really have unhappiness. Oh, good grief. We do, of course, but no, it's not worth it. No, let's not do that. We're working on the separatism thing here anyway, so that will go away over time. So no need for such ridiculous measures. Let's try and move slowly. Okay, we are on the lower end of the authoritarian spectrum, so I would rather stay there for now because we still have freedom of action in attacking places like Mashriq and so on. But eventually I want to end this game as a democracy and set the stage for the next century. Into the solar system. So this is the last land grab in our part of the Milky Way, I guess. Space colonies are growing rapidly. It's time to move on and conquer other parts of our solar system. So I doubt if we can get on board with this. Rare species. Several rare species in our country are on the verge of extinction. Should we do something? Of course we will. We'll start artificial breeding programs. Now you see how the game is very clever because it knows we will likely try and go for this, so they throw another spanner in the works to try and get our money down so that it makes life more difficult for us. So yes, if you hear the parrot in the background, I'm sorry, it's one of those times of day where he's going crazy a little bit. Whoever builds the most colonies, but what do we compete for? Venus. I don't know if Venus is really worthwhile, you know. Of course, in this game it's like any other planet, but of course in real life, getting to the surface of Venus and back again, especially with people, is nigh impossible. But Mercury and Ceres are also in the running, so I think let us try. Maybe if we just stay out of debt, we can compete still and maybe get something out of the deal. What's this? Student exchange with Belgium. I see no reason why we shouldn't do that. We have the action points, so do it. Anything in the Americas? No. There's money needed in the Republic of Congo, but they can forget about it. We had to dig ourselves out of this hole for years, and we are not just going to give away our money. Epidemic, not this again. A terrible plague is spreading throughout our country. Last time it was around the world, but I don't know if we were affected. We don't know its origin or how to fight it properly. Should we send a team of specialists to investigate before it gets any worse? Are you kidding? Of course. We must fight this problem. So you see, that, like I just said, the game is very clever. There is now another, tax on our money. Action points, population growth will not decline as much as if we just say it's a little cough. No, we do whatever we must, because what kind of government would we be if we just let our people die? Although there are many governments like that, but we shouldn't add to that. Iran has a bit of a higher chance of joining us now. Come on. Do it. And it works. Okay, pause. I didn't even see if we had the resources to pay for that deal, but it seems that we did. So there, now you see this is the foundation for a lot of great things for us, because Iran is of course a major power in this part of the world. It is at the very edge of authoritarianism and totalitarianism, so it is a bit of a hardline regime still, but hopefully through our influence we can moderate that somewhat. Personal control, militarism and so on, but they do have a relatively decent army. If we look at the stats, I'm sure it will be a bit, less than ours, but I'm not going to bother with that now. At least they will contribute a large number of units, relatively. The UAE, I think, will not be on that level, not quite. So at least that gives us three now, in total in our bloc, with us, of course. Then, what's the other thing about the economy and all of that? That's not really important. Let's just look at can we see their society? Just obviously will say it's part of the Islamic civilization here. But of course they are a prominent Shia country. So this is a foundation for a brighter future for the Middle East, in my mind anyway. So, what can we do now? Let's see. 12% in Thrace. We might have to pay again soon to calm things down there. So where do we have war between India and China again? Oh, they just can't seem to stay out of trouble. Where do we have claims right now? So we have claims on all of the parts of Southeast Europe. The whole of Greece, which hates us to the core. Macedonia, Kosovo, and so on. I'm wondering, is it really worth it to start another campaign right now to try and take something more? Bulgaria hates us anyway. Maybe if we sort of legitimize that, but again, this is now a problem because they're in South America's bloc. I don't know if we'll be able to reach Kosovo. There doesn't look like there's an actual border between us and them there. I think these two are in between. Water conflict in South Africa, and you know this is so interesting because we're heading that way. The water shortage here in Cape Town is now so critical. We are all limited to 50 liters of water per day. So I can see this happening in the future. A water shortage conflict occurred. Those who are less fortunate demand some of the liquid gold from others. Unfortunately, no one wants to share any in these dire times. Good grief. That hits a little too close to home. Bomb threat. We've received a demand from a You see, the fundamentalist elements that now see that we are posing a threat to them. Of course, we've been fighting terrorism for so long already. They are now really trying to push back. They're threatening to detonate explosives planted in the center of one of our cities unless we pay them. Now, we're going to send in the special forces. There is no way I'm supporting terrorism. Let's pay this and see if we can get another rock in space to our name. Success! More score. We pacified them with some maximum force there. Now, yes, so Kosovo and Macedonia are out of our reach, I think. I'm not sure how that works if we don't actually have a coastal connection to them or a land border. Can we actually attack them? Because we do have the core. Let's bring down the relations and take them over. Oh, wait a minute, stop a minute. Just stop here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Look at this. So they are part of East Yugoslavia. Those are the ones who just offered to take care of a problem for us. What about Albania instead? So that's in the bloc of Russia. No, you see, I must be careful here. I'm pushing my luck. So Albania is in nobody's bloc. So if we try and take Kosovo there, I think that would be a more sound avenue. Let's decrease relations. That won't really have a negative effect if we can't actually then start a war. We can always just wait and attack them later. Azerbaijan. Specialists needed. Now you see, you were in our bloc, but we weren't good enough for you then. Now you want our highly educated specialists, huh? What will we get out of it? Nothing. No. Sorry. Not some other time. Never. You turned your back on us. So we've decreased relations in Albania. Of course, it's not a failure. That never fails. Now, if I go to war, should we? What is our status now? War losses have been halved already almost. Yes, no, we do this thing. War declaration. Yes, so of course now we could attack them. It will be a coastal assault because we don't have a land connection. So that does play a factor here. But I think we should be okay. Let's try our luck. Now again, I have not been taking care of ensuring all of those advantages with temporary projects, but hopefully we can manage. Maybe I'm getting greedy here. Let's let's do a frontal advance and pay the money. We are now getting such good income that we can actually contribute to these international projects again. So one of the research efforts has been completed. So let's do the advanced health care theory. This opens up more options for our population growth and gives us the score and the task completion. So do it. We won, so we're doing okay, but they haven't started their ambush yet. Not really, they're still setting it up. But they have very few units of armor and air force there, so actually this is going to go well, because they can't really fight back effectively. Stop just a moment, oh dear. In these troubled times, our economy is under a lot of pressure. If we start to ration things, no, we don't need to ration anything. Just stop now. I can't even get to the stop button. There's so much happening. Because we have unused stock slots, we should never let it just lie empty. Let me also spend some action points improving these relationships in the stock market. Or their rating, I guess. I don't know how this works really. What does it mean to increase their rating? Anyway, let's add some more countries and see if we can get any more good deals here. What about South Korea? They say 3, but we can get more by investing the action points. But no, Iran, of course. 10. Oh yes, they like us anyway. So we are sound with them, and then we need one more. Mexico is never in a good way these days, so I don't think that will be worthwhile. Don't want to take any countries that we might want to attack eventually. Italy, perhaps? Sweden? This is the thing, if we have such a large stock market, we run out of potential good members to invite. Let's see, what about Vietnam or any of these places in Southeast Asia? Singapore, I'm sure, has its own one. Or does it? Should we just invite them? Taiwan? Now let's go for South Korea. They're a decent one, I think. Or we just went for Singapore anyway. Oh, never mind, that's fine. It's a few more cents we can make use of. So, carry on. Air supremacy, that should go well. Another project done. Good grief, we're flying through them. So what do we want? Internal politics advancement. This is one of those backup things where if we don't have anything else, we go for this because it doesn't cost anything. Now we don't want a propaganda school program. This one. No, wait. What about that energy thing? It'll mean 300 debt, but that's not a lot, and then we can get this out of the way. So let's do this. We're going to focus on ecological power sources, or sustainable power sources rather. So yes, the green is the future. Supply lines. Let's focus on the ones with a higher chance of success. Then we might destroy some of their armor or aircraft. Denmark joined the US. Degraded. So a lot of these things we probably have taken care of already. Thailand has a bloc now with Kyrgyzstan. Good grief. Wait! We don't have to be that on top of this whole planetary thing, because even if we get Mercury, that will still be great. Let us actually do a armor destruction. Just take that out of the equation. That will give us a major advantage. Is anyone else ready to contribute? Yes, 5 more units of infantry from one of our partners. Good. Now another aircraft. So do a clear skies operation. Yes, we should be careful about getting in the hit list there. UN, what is the UN up to now? Brazil proposed cancelling the anti-warmonger resolution. Encircled division. They're trapped in the south. Fight to the last man. No one is left behind. Okay, pause. I need to see what is going on. So a lot of countries are against revoking this proposal of attacking countries above a 45 warmonger level. So we're not going to see that change anytime soon. How long until we are in the Security Council? No, I keep looking at the wrong thing. Statistics. GDP size. 15. So we still have to supplant Saudi Arabia. 1, 2, 3 spots. Good grief. Well, we're getting there. Now do the breakthrough their ambush. Division has been destroyed. They couldn't break out. Oh no. So we lost some units, war losses and unhappiness, of course. It was a calculated risk. Unfortunate. So, yes, what is the situation with the damages? Oh, it's going all the way up again, but we have this project in place now to counter the war losses. Do the final offensive and hopefully we end this war quickly. Can we do anything with our partners? Let's just have a look at the bloc. So we've got the common currency, so obviously Iran has had to get on board with that. Both of them love us to death, basically. Freedom of movement. That will help the population growth as well. Military conflict is over. So yes, of course, more population equals more taxpayers. But we don't want to push it too far, I guess. But this is one of our tasks. So we are going to allow freedom of movement within our bloc. It will cost 6 to our relations, which means we will always have to keep the relations in the 80s, in fact 84, to secure their loyalty. But I think it's okay. I wonder if we can cancel these things. I guess we can. So do that and then let us pay the money and then make peace. Propose peace, and the prize I want is to acquire Kosovo. Getting the core of Albania is not going to happen, I think. I can't even select it. So how would I do that? How would I annex the whole country again? I suppose we have to first take the one province there. Oh, that's fine. It gets us somewhere. They've accepted, and we now have another piece of this puzzle that we are trying to put together. So what does Kosovo give us? Serbia is gonna get aggro here now, but too bad, it's ours now. Trade map, so 34 GDP, 13 minerals, and 127 population, and they are Islamic already, so there's no real concern there. We will still have to convert the culture, but it's relatively cheap, so let's get that going because it takes such a long time to do. We are now, 65 warmonger level. Okay, no more attacking now. No more attacking. I'm surprised. You see, yes, we're in the hit list now, but I thought it would not necessarily go that high with the core that we have there. Oh well. Come on, I wish this to pass now, but it's not gonna happen. Assassination. There's a very popular oppositionist that keeps gathering more and more supporters around him. Soon he may end up being a real danger to us. Perhaps we should do something now instead of waiting for the inevitable. It's too bad if he had an accident. Personal control, leave him alone. But that will reduce our militarism as well. So I guess he's opposed to the military efforts that we're doing. We don't want more unhappiness now, though. So we're going to say leave him alone. We can always get the militarism back again. India has its own stock market now. Can I sabotage that? China's just thrashing them there. Maybe we don't want them anymore. Take them out. Because if they're going to lose this war now against China, their economy is also going to be damaged. And there's my alarm going off again. So see, everyone is happy here. China's, of course, fantastic there. Let's see if we can't improve our relations a little bit. And we can pay more money. Separatism, yes, so we need to pay for calming down the separatists in Greece or Thrace. This is not Greece anymore. Still cheap though. Pay back the money. Let's pay off some more debt. That's always the theme of the episodes now. We're going to do it, comrades, one of these days. It's 25292 at the moment, so now we pay whatever we have. I think we will pay a little bit more soon. I just want to think, what else do I need to do in this episode still? Let's go back to the other view. There we go. That's good. China likes us more. We are still number 3 though. Now it's going to be a few years before we can supplant Germany. That's a problem. That's a problem. We're going to have to do something about them. Yes, let's see. Anything else to do right now? We're waiting for the research to be done. Let's wait for the advanced health theory to get done, because I really want to see what happens with the solar system thing. Hungary joined the US. Infantry, yes. I think we should take care of our military. There's been a bit of casualties there. Youngster killed by police. Oh dear. A young man was accidentally shot dead by a policeman yesterday. Oh dear, so if I punish this officer, our militarism will go down, but so will our unhappiness. No, accidents happen. I'm sorry. It's not the best thing, I know. We'll punish him in other ways. Let's just get more infantry. Let's get 15 more and some more tanks. 5 and a few more aircraft. We can still afford that. Good. And now, unfortunately, we don't have enough to pay there again. Let's just have a bit of a wait. Detention camp. There may be some usefulness. There should be a split there. There may be some usefulness in opening up a special political prison designed for those who are a threat to security, peace and social order. Personal control is not really such a big deal for me anymore. What I just don't want is interventionism. So it costs money, but it gives us action points. No, we will not deal with something like this. Absolutely not. I would rather get a planet. Which brings me also to the thing, we must still invest in the moon. Okay, China's the bloc is gone. Is that true? How can that be? How did that happen? They're bankrupt. What? Did they lose that war? No, it couldn't be. Unless I misread the thing. Okay, that thing is done. There we go. Now we get our score back. So now the Germans will have to really face us there. Unfortunately, we're still behind them. It's like whatever we do, they still go even further. I will not stand for this. Pay this money and let's get something in the solar system. Now, what do we need next? I'm going to do that freebie now. Just because we need to save the money. What about this one? Global promotional campaign to show off your accomplishments and achievements. That's another 50 score for diplomatic missions. So do that one. Because I want to save that money in case we still need to do another investment for the solar system. Come on, we're almost there. I'll speed this up a little bit. Infantry is ready. Peace between Russia and the US has expired. The masses are looking for a better life among the stars. People are leaving Earth and moving to the space colonies. And of course, we own one of those colonies, so we will soon be getting some immigrants, I imagine. But I assume what this really means is there's now less population growth in these countries. So this is not a penalty for us, it's for everyone else. How long? How long? Just a month. Then we'll know the outcome. New task. Our country could use some general improvement. Introduce the Combat Tactics Center project. Now we also have freedom of movement in our bloc. Combat Tactics Center. That we can do. Certainly, yes. Militarism +1. And it's not that expensive and it opens up more options. One more. Okay. And that's it. Turkey wins. So we have Venus now. I guess we're going to build cloud cities in Venus or in the atmosphere, but this is good. The world doesn't like us, but -2 is not bad. Score +50, always great, and we get all the resources of Venus as well. The US is actually number 2 with Mercury and then Japan, Canada and so on. Let's stop here. This is fantastic news, comrades. I was actually wondering if we would get to compete in those things again because of our financial situation. Where is that it? No. That must be it. Turkey, yes. Good to see Turkey there on Venus. Now, what is Venus worth? Only 20, but 53 minerals, and there's 100 people living there now. 100 population. What's the case for the moon? 131. Oh yes, it's because we still need to do a lot of investment there. So I don't want to compete anymore for planets because it's so expensive to build them up. But that's still great news, comrades. Another win for us. Another planetary body there and more debt gone. 21148. Always a good thing, comrades. We are getting there. What's the state here now? Look at that. Germany is now even higher than before again. Now we're 6 behind them, but it doesn't matter. No obstacle will stand in our way. Whoever is in our way is roadkill. That's our motto. So see you next time, comrades, and have a fantastic day.